During the Edo period, the merchants became the wealthiest people in the land. They controlled the distribution of products. They also controlled a lot of monopolies. So they were able to develop a tremendous amount of wealth. Even some of the great financial houses of today developed during the Edo period. For example, in this one print, you can see the Mitsui family crest. It's in the city of Yokohama around 1860. So they became very wealthy, but they were not allowed to show off their wealth. They often had to keep it hidden. For example, in the clothing, often the lining would be very nice, where the outside of the clothing would not be. They also found that they could enjoy life a lot during the Edo period by going to the pleasure quarters. In the pleasure quarters, there were brothels, bathhouses, restaurants, and what they loved most, kabuki theater. So they'd go there to get entertainment. The samurai were not supposed to be going to kabuki theater because it was beneath them. They were supposed to go and watch no plays or no drama, which had masks. But the kabuki theater was very colorful. It had a lot of sexual innuendo, a lot of intrigue, violence, and this is what the average person seemed to like. During the Edo period, the merchants loved a particular type of art known as ukiyo-e. These are woodblock prints. Woodblock prints were made by a team effort. First, the artist would make the image. He would send it to the woodblock carver. The woodblock carver would then print the image, print one copy, and send it back to the artist. He would fill in the colors and then send that print back to the woodblock carvers. For each color, a block has to be carved. So in some cases, there can be 7 to 17 different blocks. These all have to be carefully lined up. So again, I will repeat it. It's a team effort. First, you have the artist, the woodblock carver, and the printer. He's the one who would print each color. So each time you finished one color, you'd have to lay them all out and let them dry. And then after they dried, take it up and put the next color on, and so on and so on. And if you wanted a fourth member to the team effort, you would have the distributor. He would sell these around or carry them around and sell them to the ordinary people. Now, these usually only cost a few pennies, and you just put them up for a while and then discard them. Now, eventually, they were used as packing material when they were sending ceramics to Europe. So they're all crumpled up and sent around these ceramics. Now, some of the sea captains and other people in Europe began admiring these colorful woodblock prints, and it ended up influencing a lot of people like the Impressionists and the Post-Impressionists, like Van Gogh, Degas, Monet, people like Whistler. So they're all influenced by Japanese woodblock prints and the various angles that they tried to depict and the large blocks of color. So ukiyo-e prints ended up having a tremendous impact on Western art. Not so much in Japan, where a lot of the aristocracy felt these were vulgar images and they would not collect them. So it was not considered a great art, but it was a folk art, a popular art, in which the ordinary people could afford. During the Edo period, basically only 2 foreigners were allowed to trade with the Japanese, and that was the Chinese and the Dutch. All the rest were banned. This would all change in 1853 when the American, Commodore Perry, would sail in with 6 ships. He sailed in with these ships and they had huge cannons, and suddenly the samurai found that they had no countermeasure to stop them. They could do whatever they want. Perry left the ultimatum that when he returned in 1 year that the Japanese would have to open up ports to the Americans, which he did. He returned in 1854 and the Japanese had to open up 2 ports. The main reason why the Americans wanted these ports open is they wanted to be able to stop and resupply their ships. Often whaling ships had been in this area, and if they became marooned, and the Japanese would either kill the crew members or send them back out to sea. Now they had a chance to put to port, get food, and continue. Now, as soon as the Americans did this, the British, the Russians, the French, and even the Dutch began making new treaties and forcing the Japanese to open up more ports to them. Before too long, the foreigners were set up in the city of Yokohama, and you could see them all over the place coming to trade with the Japanese. They did very well, and a lot of Japanese companies did very well.